Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Cowboys over/under 6 touchdowns for Ezekiel Elliott. By now everyone knows Ezekiel Elliott is back in town. After a year apart where he took his talents up north to New England with the Patriots, Zeke is back where it all started with the Cowboys. That much is known, but what isn't clearly defined is just what his role is going to be. Leading up to the 2024 NFL Draft, there were words shared that led some to believe the Cowboys' decision-makers viewed Zeke as a viable starting option in 2024, despite the obvious decline in production. However, since then head coach Mike McCarthy and others have begun to temper that expectation by offering a more sensible plan of action that consists of a RB-by-committee approach. While we still have months to figure out just what that will look like for reps and carries in a game, what is clear is that the Cowboys most definitely brought Zeke back to help them punch the ball in the end zone on the ground more. Given that, what should be the touchdown expectation for Zeke in his return to Big D? Say what you want about Zeke's fading burst or his lack of home run ability that has changed the trajectory of his career over the last few seasons, but what you cannot deny is that he knows how to find the end zone. While in New England, among a rotating group of RBs, Zeke only found the end zone 3 times, a career low for him. However, the last time he got consistent opportunities to score was in his final season in Dallas, the year the fans wanted him gone. He was able to punch in for 6-12 times. A running back that produced 876 rushing yards and 12 touchdowns was let go because of his pay, because the reality is that those are productive numbers if the money makes sense. Money can distort reality, both ways, because if Zeke were to pull in those same very numbers, on his modest $3 million deal this year, that would be considered a good deal for Dallas. However, on a $90 million contract, fans would be frustrated a bit. However, times and circumstances have changed, and Zeke has a chance to be the short yardage enforcer and a touchdown hammer while doing so at a fair market rate. Before 2022, Zeke's touchdown totals for the year were 10, 6, 12, and 6 once more from 2021 down to 2018. Is 6 touchdowns for Zeke in a committee role, in a franchise that understands what he brings to the red zone and short yardage situations, a fair number? It's not out of the question, and fans shouldn't be upset to see it happen either. We can debate his yards per carry, his total rushing yards per game, or the fact it would take something out of the ordinary to see him get over 1,000 yards this year. However, what his bottom line will be judged on is putting points on the board, and in that running back room, for better or worse, he is the best man for the job right now. What's up at G/C? Questions about present, future. In the glass-half-full approach, the Cowboys are better than solid in the interior of the line, thanks to Pro Bowl seasons from Zach Martin and Tyler Smith, who have the right and left guard spots handled, at least for this year. But in between them will be some question marks, mainly because of the free agent departure of Tyler Baiadas. But the Cowboys addressed the position in the draft and have some options for competition. Whoever starts at center will have the luxury of leaning on both Martin and Smith to his right and left. With that, it's time to discuss what's up at guard/center for the Cowboys. What we know, the Cowboys have a pair of Pro Bowlers lining up at guard with Tyler Smith and Zach Martin. That's a great starting point for an offensive line that saw its share of change and with 2 other positions up in the air. But the rock-steady part of the line is Smith and Martin, who have a steady blend of youth and experience, but both have been better than good when healthy. Obviously, Martin is on another level as he has made 9 Pro Bowls in his 10-year career, but regardless of age, the strength of this O-line is at guard. What we don't know who will start at center, plain and simple. It's probably the biggest position battle on the team right now. The Cowboys drafted Cooper Beebe to play center, but he's never actually taken a rep in a college game at center. Brock Hoffman has some experience and he's got some support within the coaching staff to win the job. But it'll all come down to what happens at camp. The trick will be for the Cowboys to get a fair rotation for Beebe, Hoffman and maybe TJ Bass, without taking too long in the process because developing chemistry is vital. What to watch for? Beyond this year, there has been some talk about what the future holds for Zach Martin, who recently made some comments about this possibly being his last year with the Cowboys. Not only is he in the final year of his contract, but Martin hinted that the wear and tear on his body has him already thinking about retirement. How he plays this year will probably dictate his decision. So while the focus is on 2024, Martin could be in the last season of his career as well. Freaky trade proposal sends NFL All-Pro WR to Broncos. There's an epidemic of disgruntled wide receivers going around the NFL, and the Denver Broncos haven't been immune. Their star wideout, Courtland Sutton, sat out OTAs over a contract dispute before returning from minicamp. Another team with even bigger wide receiver issues is the Dallas Cowboys, who have yet to grant two-time NFL All-Pro Ceedee Lamb a contract extension which could rival the record-setting, four-year, $140 million contract extension for Minnesota Vikings wide receiver Justin Jefferson. In a mind-melting trade proposal, predominantly Orange's Luz Catalia suggests trading Lamb to the Broncos for Sutton, a 2025 first-round pick and 2026 second-round pick. "Let's get super freaky right off the bat," Scatalia wrote. "You could argue that the one thing missing from the Denver Broncos offense currently is a true WR1. Well, you can't get much better than Ceedee Lamb, who seems very unhappy that he does not have a contract extension from the Dallas Cowboys, who have totally botched this offseason. It is a high price, but it's what the top of the WR market is at now. The Denver Broncos would likely have to part with valuable draft capital to make this deal go down, perhaps multiple draft picks and a player, like I've proposed above. Would Courtland Sutton, a first and a second-round pick, be enough? The idea of adding Lamb to their roster falls squarely in the wildest dreams category for any NFL fan. Since the Cowboys selected Lamb out of Oklahoma as the number 17 overall pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, he's been arguably the NFL's best wide receiver. Lamb's receiving yardage has gone up each of his 4 seasons and heads into 2024 coming off 3 consecutive seasons over 1,000 receiving yards. He had 935 receiving yards as a rookie in 2020. Lamb's 2023 season was one for the ages as he led the NFL with 135 receptions to go with 1,749 receiving yards and 12 touchdowns. He's also been named a Pro Bowler each of the last 3 seasons. Lamb signed a 4-year, $14.01 million rookie contract in 2020, and after the Cowboys picked up his 5th-year option in 2023, he's scheduled to make approximately $17.9 million in 2024. Bleacher Report's Christopher Knox projected how Jefferson's deal could impact the NFL wide receiver market, and projects the Broncos will end up granting Sutton's wish with a 2-year, $35 million contract extension with $25 million guaranteed. That is, if he's not traded. Sutton is still the last Denver player to pass 1,000 receiving yards in a single season, which he did in 2019 on the way to earning his lone Pro Bowl spot. Broncos receiver Courtland Sutton, whose lone 1,000-yard campaign came back in 2019, is a tier or 2 below every other player on this list, Knox wrote. However, he has to be mentioned because he has held out of off-season workouts in an effort to gain a new contract. The good news for Denver, which is working to develop rookie quarterback Bo Nix, is that its top receiver isn't actually seeking number 1 receiver money. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Ceedee Lamb? Leave your opinion in the comments.